situation will go bad. So what are the natural resources? The natural resources, it can be defined as any natural or artificial substance, energy or organism which is used by human or human being for its welfare. So it can be natural, it can be artificial. We are talking about a resource. We'll talk about artificial resources just now. But in case of resources or natural resources, these are utilized, or natural or artificial both are utilized by human being. We eat from food. We transport through diesel or petrol. So we are depending on the environment. We are depending on the mother nature to survive. So these are what? These are sansadhan, these are resources. So it includes everything like water, land, the soil, the rocks, the forest, the animals, the fossil fuels, the minerals. So these resources, we are dependent upon them for our living. Okay? So they are called natural resources because they are the basis of life on earth. Natural resources are the means for us to survive. This is how we live. If we don't have these natural resources, we don't have air, water, or sunlight, or anything like the soil, we won't be able to live. Our basis of living is these natural resources, right? So these natural resources can be consumed directly or indirectly. In either way, directly, indirectly. For instance, directly, how do we take? We are directly dependent on the forest. The forest, we are taking them directly because forest is giving us food. Forest is giving us biomass, that is the tree, plant, etc. For various medicinal purpose, we need for health, we need the medicinal content from forest. So we are talking about food, forest is giving biomass, health. For recreation, we go to forest safari, jungle safari. And we need comfort also, we need luxury also. This is directly using. How about indirectly using the resources? Or how this indirectly forest use? Forest is regulating the environment. It's regulating the climate. Because if you go to desert, all these plants, they will have thorn. And these thorn saves water. So this is what I'm talking about, regulating the climate. It will stop the flood because it will hold the soil, the land. If some storm is coming, if we have a chain of trees, it will stop it. All the nutrients which are depleted over the time, it is recycled or cycled by this forest also, poshak tattva, for our body, for the plants. So this is done by forest. So these resources are like this. See, there are resources which are naturally occurring, but there are certain which are created or developed by human beings. And these are called as artificial resources. I told you about natural resources. Now I'm talking about the artificial resources. What are these artificial resources? The resources which we have created over the time, over the life. For example, the biogas, all the waste material, the dung, the excreta, if you combine them, put it somewhere for the time, it will create gas. Then the electricity, your refrigerator, your TV, your mobile, everything is run by electricity or the battery. And the plastics which are used everywhere now. So natural resources, the mother earth gives us, these are natural resources. And we have artificial resources. Artificial resources are created by us. I was talking about this forest. Forest is giving us oxygen. Biodiversity means different kind of flora and fauna living together in harmony, in balance, right? And these services, everything we are getting it from, for example, wood. Wood we use for furniture. Wood we use for, in various places, for warming, for heating, for making food, for making the, say, railway line track planks. So all the man-made materials, resources which we are making. It can be a cup, it can be a cap, it can be a TV, it can be a rug, it can be a ladder, it can be a trunk, All these are man-made resources. They are not naturally occurring. So natural resources, Prakritik Sansadhan, they are of various forms. So it may be in a solid form, liquid form, or a gaseous form. And these are the categories which I'm talking about. It can also be organic and inorganic. That is, organic means from the living, inorganic from the non-living. There is also metallic and non-metallic. Metals have luster, they are good conductor of electricity. Non-metal are not. So when we talk about natural resources, we have different kind of resources. So we are talking about land resources. Land resources, because human beings, plants, animals, they all use land, soil, because we are producing our food from there. Or agriculture, this is done on land only. We are doing recreation also, and we live here. Our residence, our building, our high rises on these land resources only. But the thing is that we have agriculture land and non-agriculture land. And the land is limited because in our globe, the land is limited. We cannot increase it. So land resources, the roads are being made, houses are being made, buildings are being made. Even if you want to play something like golf, you need land. You need land for agriculture. So this is how this land becomes so important. Coming to forest resources. Forest means a group of flora and fauna and the trees. So 1947, what was our population? Around 34.5 to be precise. 35 crores, now we are 135 crores. 135 crores. At that time also the resources were scarce, the population was high. Now we have 135 crores using the same resources. So the forest is a natural, means it comes by itself. Self-sustaining means it sustains, it balances itself. Community characterized by, how do we characterize it? By a vertical structure created by the presence of these trees. So we have trees, combination of trees, as I said. We have flora and fauna also here. So these trees gives us wood. And by wood, we can make various things. We are making railway sleepers, matches, plows, bridges, boats. You know, this, even in our house, we have furniture made up of this wood coming from the forest. Small to small, big to big. This forest and the wood becomes so important. We are also using it for cooking purposes. In the village area, the rural area, this wood is only used for cooking. And if you go to winter areas, we fire it, lit it to keep us warm. So tannins, gums, drugs, spices, insecticides, waxes, honey, horns, musk, ivory, hides, all are provided by forest, and especially the flora and fauna which is found in our forest. Flora are basically plants, fauna are animals, different type of animals, birds. So honey, for example, drugs and insecticides. So you see here, with maximum things, we are getting it from forest only. Water resources. Water is the key. So water resources, wherever we have water. Water is covering 3/4 of Earth's surface. Means water is everywhere. 3/4, I'm talking about 75% our globe is covered by water. That is why we are a blue planet. Blue planet. Everywhere we have water. And it is, 75 is a big number. But only 2.5%, only, less than 3% is available as fresh water. That is the water we drink. But the thing is, without food you can survive for some days. Without water you can't even survive for 2, means you will be uneasy if you don't get water. Water is so important. So water resources, water is necessary for human life. In water resources, what comes? Rivers, lakes, oceans, even the underground water. We are called as underground aquifers. All this comes. So without water, agriculture cannot be done. Without water, there will be no industries. In our household, day-to-day life, we use water every time for any recreational activity, environmental activity. We need water. Water resources are so important. The plant need water, the animal need water. Now coming to mineral resources. Minerals are nothing but rocks, but good rocks. Say expensive rocks, important rocks. So mineral deposit is a concentration of naturally occurring solid, liquid or gaseous material on the earth crust. Earth crust is around from top to 60 kilometers earth crust. So what we get here, these minerals, and these minerals are basically rock. They have transformed into different form. So after some time, these rocks, they change their composition and finally give rise to mineral. And this mineral becomes important, profitable, important, and money-wise important for everyone. So we can convert this into useful materials which are very profitable. For example, gems, anything. So these sona, chandi and gold and diamond, they are minerals only. So let me show you some minerals here. We have jasper, galena, halite, and all these different metals and non-metals can be extracted from there. So these minerals are non-renewable. Now you'll answer, when it is coming by nature, why it is non-renewable? Non-renewable means once we use it, it cannot be renewed because it takes years, thousand lakhs of years to make this. So mineral resources are actually non-renewable because it takes millions years to make iron, copper, aluminium, metals and non-metals. These are metals, as I said, there are certain properties, metals. They are conductor of electricity, they are lustrous, they are malleable, they are ductile. So all these properties differentiate a metal from a non-metal. So metal is a mineral resource. Non-metal, we have all these non-metals also we get. For example, salt, gypsum, clay, sand, phosphates. These are all coming to this non-metals. And some minerals, you will get it, in some ores or some combination, you will get only one of them. See, some ores you can extract various metals and non-metals. But sometimes there are certain minerals which are only single element occurring. So classification of minerals, we can divide it into metallic, non-metallic and energy minerals. I told you about the properties that differentiate them. So in energy minerals, we have coal, petroleum, natural gas, when they are burned or they do combustion, we get energy from it. We get good energy from it. So metallic, I told you, ferrous, iron containing, non-iron containing are non-ferrous, and they are precious. For example, gold, silver, platinum, and this also defines one of the part of economy also. Coming to food resources. Food is what we eat, what animals eat. So these resources which are used as food, or they provide food for organisms. I'm not only talking about humans, I'm talking about every organism. Every organism needs food. You talk about lion, you talk about a deer, they need food. And plants, they serve the main food resource. For whom? Herbivores and omnivores. So who are herbivores and omnivores? And see, there are three categories. First is herbivore. Herbivore, those who only eat plant. They are vegetarian. Carnivore, they only eat mutton, means meat. They don't eat plants. Omnivore, they eat both. Means they will eat chicken also, they will eat say vegetable also. So herbivores and omnivores, they use food resources as plants. But talking about animals and birds, they are also source of food for those who are called as carnivores and omnivores. Carnivores and omnivores, like human being, as I said. They eat meat also, they eat beef also. So agriculture is the main source of this plant food resource for human being. Wheat, the rice and all the cereals are coming from agriculture only. So we get food resources from here. So this is the food resource picture I wanted to show. Coming to energy resources. Energy resources, basically energy producing. once they do combustion, once you do the combustion activity, they will produce heat, power. So this energy can be used to produce heat. It can produce power. It can move objects. It can produce electricity also. So an energy resource can be heat providing, power providing, or even moving the objects and producing the electricity. So there are 5 fundamental sources of energy. Nuclear fission and fusion, they are 2. So nuclear fusion, for example, the sun is giving us energy because of nuclear fusion. Here inside nucleus, I'm not going into the details, the particles inside, they combine. And when they combine, they produce a lot of energy. That is the solar energy. Then we have nuclear fission also, but before that, gravity generated by the Earth and Moon, this is also a source of energy. The waves are formed because of this only. Nuclear fission is basically same thing. As I said, nuclear fusion, there are 2 particle combining. In nuclear fission, the particle is dividing into 2. And then we have inside Earth, because inside Earth it's all hot. And above this we have the geothermal energy kind of thing. The chemical bonds, covalent, ionic. If you see the chemical reaction, you will see energy here, either absorbed or released. So what we are today getting energy is coming from fossil fuels. These fossil fuels are coming from the plants and animals which have died, and over lakhs of years they have transformed into fossil fuel. Crude oil producing the petroleum, the gases, the oils, the diesels. So this is fossil fuel. So fossil fuels, the problem is with fossil fuel is, first of all, they are created in millions of years. So they are non-renewable. Once you use it, they cannot be renewed. They cannot be renewed. Like petroleum, like diesel, like coal also. Natural gas is coming over and crude oils. Any deposit of crude oil, you will find natural gas above it. And this non-renewable, they are non-renewable. One more thing, they cause pollution. They cause a harmful effect on the environment. For example, nitrous oxide, the carbon dioxide, and so many gases are released. So natural resources, that is coming from our Mother Earth. So we can divide it into various categories. For example, inexhaustible resources and exhaustible resources. Exhaust means it will finish. Something that will finish or has finished. So inexhaustible resources are those resources which will never be exhausted. And exhaustible resources means in due course of time they will get exhausted or finished. Inexhaustible resources, that is a human, if he is or she is using or we are using, then they will never be exhausted. These are inexhaustible. We have solar radiation, wind power, water power, tidal power. All these falls under this category. Tidal means the waves. Waves have power. They have energy. Hydroelectricity generated by water power. When it comes to exhaustible resources, those resources which are limited in quantity, we know the quantity beforehand. For example, if you have 2 chocolates, if you eat one and then if you know that one is remaining, if you eat both of them, that means they are exhausted. So you know the quantity of these resources and you know the number, and with consumption, with continuous use, they will finally be exhausted. For instance, take example of coal. So this picture is of a coal and the amount is fixed, limited. It takes thousands of years for coal to be formed. So one day when we are using it, there will be no more coal. So we will just talk about this non-renewable and renewable energy. You can have a look here, but I'll be discussing that. So there are different categories. One more is renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources, renew means, what does renew means? Renew means it will come again. It can replenish, it can again make themselves. So renewable resources are those resources which are constantly available, like water. Water in every form it will be there, the content, the number is fixed. but it will never be finished. If you use water, it will not be exhausted. It can be replaced or it can be recovered. But if you see somewhere it is flood, somewhere it is drought, right? So you see, like forest, if you remove that forest and if you leave this land, in due course of time, the forest and trees will come, but it takes a lot of time. So some renewable resources, they can be replenished easily, but some of them take millions of years, thousands of years. So that is why they are not renewable. Some of these resources which are exhaustible, that is, which are going to be finished, they are coming from nature. They are naturally regenerated. I gave you an example of forest trees and plants. So we destroy a forest or we cut a forest or plant, the plant and forest will come by itself. If you leave a land, it will come by itself. If no one grow, new one will grow by itself. But if you cut a forest and if you use this land for, say, human purpose, like construction of building or say some other human purpose, it will be lost forever. That land will never grow the forest or plant. Okay? Then it will not be renewable. So renewable energy systems, that is, those renewed and they produce energy also. So these renewable energy sources or energy system, they will be replaced, and if you use these energy systems, they are less polluting as well. If you use solar energy, hydropower, the geothermal energy, hydropower is basically waves, the biomass. Geothermal is because earth is inside is very hot, so you get heat out of it. So this geo is globe, our earth, and thermal is heat. So it is coming from the inside. When I go to non-renewable resources, once you use it, it will not be easily replaced. Once, that is, if you destroy it, they will not come so easily. For example, you use oxygen and then you give oxygen out, carbon dioxide out. Plant will take this carbon dioxide and form it again into oxygen. But there are certain resources which will never be regenerated. Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are basically found by the plants and animals which have died millions of years ago, lakhs of years ago. The minerals, for example. Minerals are a rock to become a mineral. It takes a lot of time. There is a natural process. It will take a rock cycle. So in non-renewable resources, we have one more category, organic and inorganic. Organic, that is living beings, the resources which are found by living beings are organic. Those are found by non-living things. These are inorganic. So this non-renewable resources can be inorganic and organic. So we can give an example of inorganic as minerals because rocks are not living, wind, land, soil and rock. So let me tell you again, there are different categories. We talked about exhaustible and inexhaustible. We talked about renewable and non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources can be categorized again into inorganic and organic.